Welcome to Wanderlust and Wishes, the podcast where we explore the world one destination at a time.
I'm Julie.
And I'm Krystle.
As travel agents with fantastical vacations, we are here to share our passion for travel and help you turn your wanderlust into reality.
From hidden gems to bucket list adventures, join us as we dive into the sights, sounds, and stories of our favorite destinations.
So grab your passport, pack your bags, and let's embark on this journey together. Welcome to episode 23 of Wanderlust and Wishes. Today, we are going to cover Universal Orlando and all things about the wizarding world of Harry Potter. It is officially Harry Potter movie marathon binge fest season. So we're going to talk about all the things Harry Potter. But first, we're going to cover some news.
The biggest one is because we did not have enough on our plates this week. Walt Disney World sneakily dropped November and December of 2025. Just kind of like slid it in there and people started seeing it before they made any announcements. So if you want to book for next Christmas, do it now.
I have some people that I've already had to send out information for because they've been waiting for November and December. And I know a lot of the agents with our agency were doing the same thing. We've all been very not so patiently waiting. Okay, so with Alani, this winter, you can save up to 25% on select rooms and villas for stays of 5 or more nights and up to 20% for stays of 4 nights. It's for dates January 4th, 2025 through April 10th, 2025.
What better time to go to Hawaii than when we're in the midst of the gray, dark winter? If you'd like to get on a last-minute Adventure by Disney getaway, you can save up to $500 per person for a limited time. These are on select land, adventures, river cruises, expedition cruises, and escapes to destinations throughout the world. Offer must be booked by December 31st for travel on select departures now through March 26th of 2025.
Okay, and then last but not least, the bookings for the Disney Adventure are scheduled to open up on December 10th, 2024. Details on pricing and sailing will be released in the next few weeks on November 14th. Maiden voyages set sail from Singapore on December 15th, 2025. So this is the ship that we've talked about that was already in the works and Disney purchased it. So is going to be a little different than the typical Disney cruise line ship, just because it already had its foundation and a lot of the pieces were already there. And as we talked about last week, it's going to have a roller coaster, and Krystle's very excited about that part.
The renderings, so if anybody's familiar with the big Royal Caribbean ships that has rooms on each side and it's kind of like a big mall down the middle with the neighborhoods, that's what this one's going to be like. So it's kind of
interesting,
very different than your normal Disney Cruise Line ship that everybody's used to right now. So be interesting to see once it's live and sailing what everybody thinks.
Okay.
Full disclosure before we jump in, I am not a Potterhead.
And Julie I am. So I'm going to say things and she's going to be completely confused.
So if I act like I don't know what I'm talking about, I have been here and I have experienced these things, and I've seen all the movies. I don't know. It doesn't internalize with me like other things. So I'm sorry.
Though. It's different when you've read the books, though, because you know all of the details behind the books and all of the things that they show in the movies. Sometimes they don't necessarily explain the backstory. You just kind of have to know what it is. And you know that by reading the books. And so that's
and I might get canceled for saying this, but I read 3 and I really like 3. And then I read 4. I could never get through 1. So I kind of skipped around, and so sorry.
That's blasphemous talk right there. So as I was saying before, I don't really know why. The only thing I can think of is because the first movie, Sorcerer's Stone, was released in theaters at the holidays. And so I don't know if that's why it has become this thing around the holidays where people watch the movies and you do these marathons. But it just kind of is. So if you're a Potterhead, or if you have a person in your family that is a Potterhead, there really is nothing like walking through Hogsmeade and Diagon Alley in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. It's crazy how much detail there is and how many references there are to the movies. There's lots of little small things, little small nods to things and details everywhere that you really can't see them if you're there only one time. I mean, you really, you kind of catch them as you go through the different times. And there's actually lots of things out there that talk about the little secret things that you can find. But it really is great. And now they also have a new land that's coming as part of Epic Universe next May. We're going to talk a little bit about that as well.
I will say, even not knowing what I was walking into, I was still blown away with like the level of detail and just like how immersive everything is.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. So there's definitely something here for everybody.
And as a reminder, there is a dining card promotion for Universal Orlando that it's an up to $1,000 dining card that's included in select hotel and ticket packages if you're staying at Universal Orlando hotels. This is for dates between November 7th, 2024 through April 10th, 2025. They do have blackout dates from December 20th, 2024 through January 4th, 2025. But otherwise, this is a really awesome promotion to be able to add this on. And, they have also ticket promotions and things like that you can book with it. So it's not necessarily just getting that dining card. If they have other promotions going on, it combines with those. So that's really a great deal.
All right, I think we're going to start at Hogsmeade. So this one is at Islands of Adventure. If you're not familiar with Universal Orlando, they're technically two parks, Islands of Adventure and Universal Orlando. As we talk about, you can ride the train back and forth between them, but they are two separate entrances, two separate tickets. So Hogsmeade is at Islands of Adventure, and this is where you will find the Hogwarts Castle. And that is also where mine and Julie's favorite ride is, Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey.
Sarcasm font right there.
I not want to get very motion sick, and this made me sick. There's a 48-inch height requirement, and I don't think Julie will ever do this ride ever again. It's very screen oriented, and what would you say you're sitting in? It's kind of like a high back theater seats, like four wide, but you have like a
that hurls you, like tosses you back and forth. So not only are you getting motion sickness from the screen because you're flying on a broom, and you're also being tossed like side to side, backwards, forwards.
Yeah, you do have like the big over the shoulder roller coaster restraints that come down over you. So
I would compare it to probably like kind of the way that Soarin' is. It's like
yes,
the way that
the
Soarin' is,
seats,
except you're not like flying gracefully over, mountains and fields. You're being tossed around.
You're being tossed, yes.
There are a couple other rides. One of the other rides is Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure. This is so fun. It's a roller coaster. You have the bike and then you have the sidecar. And so someone sits on the bike and someone sits in the sidecar. And you just are like flying all over the place and seeing some of the, magical creatures that Hagrid loves. This one also is a 48-inch height requirement.
I wouldn't wait for mini rides anywhere, but this one is definitely worth the 90 to 120 minute wait.
Yeah, it's a good one. And this is definitely one that, especially if you're staying on property at one of the Universal resorts and you get early park entry to Wizarding World of Harry Potter by 30 minutes, this is one that you should rope drop, because even if you have Express Pass, this is not on that list. So you have to wait for it. And I don't know that they're going to be adding that to the Express Pass list anytime soon because it's still so popular. So yeah, this is definitely one that you want to get up early and be there so that you don't have to wait for 2 hours if possible. But it is definitely one of the best rides for sure. I think across Islands of Adventure. I like it better than I like Velocicoaster. I know, gasp.
The other one in the area is Flight of the Hippogriff, and this is a family-friendly roller coaster that you can see scenic views of Hagrid's hut and the surrounding Forbidden Forest. There is a 36-inch height requirement on this one.
So those of you that are Harry Potter fans, you know in Prisoner of Azkaban, Buckbeak is the hippogriff. That is the kind of one of the main focal points of that movie. And so this ride is based on Buckbeak. Next is Hogwarts Express. And this is something that you do have to have a park to park ticket to ride it because it goes between Hogsmeade and Islands of Adventure to Diagon Alley and Universal Studios. And without the park to park ticket, you're not able to ride this. So definitely, if you're going to visit the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, we would strongly recommend that you have a park to park ticket anyway, just because you're able to hop back and forth between the two and you want to be able to experience Hogwarts Express.
And it is a different storyline going each direction.
Right.
So it's kind of different.
The other thing that you can witness is kind of next to the area of the Flight of the Hippogriff, or a little bit next to it. There's a stage area where you can see performances throughout the day by, it's either Triwizard Spirit Rally or the Frog Choir. Those of you that are Potterheads know that from Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, you have the 3 different schools that participate in the Triwizard Tournament, and that is the representatives from the 3 different schools could potentially be performing on the stage.
You also will see the nighttime lights at Hogwarts. So it's called Hogwarts Always, and the show features 4 different endings that celebrate each Hogwarts house and will culminate with a colorful pyrotechnic display. There's also dialogue from beloved characters like Professor Dumbledore, Hagrid, the Sorting Hat, and more throughout the show.
Moving on to dining and shopping, Hogsmeade Village it's just kind of the street that leads up to the castle. And you have Filch's Emporium of Confiscated Goods. And this shop has lots of quote unquote seized items from Filch, including t-shirts, hats, scarves, house banners, and more.
You also have Ollivander's Wand Shop, where there's an interactive experience where the wand chooses the wizard. The wands can be used throughout both parks, like through Diagon Alley and Hogsmeade, to cast spells. I don't know if your girls have wands, but when we were there, we saw a lot of kids and adults alike doing like the windows react and casting spells, and it's just a fun little addition too.
It is. And it does have to be an interactive wand for that to work. So you can buy regular wands that aren't interactive or interactive wands. If you want to just purchase a wand that's your favorite character and you want that particular wand, you can do that. So like I have Professor McGonagall's wand because she's my favorite. And I think my daughter has Hermione's, and I don't remember I don't know if Lena has a specific wand because she doesn't care. They also have another store that's called Dervis and Bangs. They have t-shirts, quaffles, golden snitches, brooms, and Hogwarts uniforms. Those are some of the fun items you can get here. For non-Potterheads, the quaffle and golden snitches are part of the game of Quidditch.
There is the Owl Post and Owlery, where you can stock up on stationery, and you can also get an owl of your own and mail postcards with a special Hogsmeade postmark.
They have 2 different butterbeer carts in this along Hogsmeade. One of them is basically like almost as soon as you get off of the Hogwarts Express near the Hagrid's motorbike ride. And then the other one is closer to Hogwarts Castle as you're heading out towards Jurassic Park area.
You also have Honeydukes, which is the sweet shop where you can get the famous chocolate frogs and Bertie Bott's every flavor beans.
And I think, didn't you get some of the beans, the jelly beans for your kids? Yeah. These are the beans that when it says every flavor, it means every flavor. You could get flavors like vomit or earwax. And so I've just never been brave enough to get them because I just can't. I just can't.
So there is a paper that tells you, and there are some good flavors, but when they say it tastes like vomit, it really does taste like vomit. I was tricked at the beach and given a vomit one,
Oh,
and I was, ugh, it
yeah,
was
I just
gross.
can't.
Well, and then those girls opened them and they exploded on us all over the train. Remember
Oh,
that?
yeah, I do remember that.
And you could just smell all these like flavors, and I was like, what in the world? But the chocolate frogs were delightful. They were wonderful.
Yeah, they're really good. You also have Three Broomsticks that is available for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This is something that you can add on. The breakfast piece you can add on to when you're booking a trip. You can add on to your trip, and you basically get a voucher for breakfast. And then Hogsmeade is a bar, but it's located within Three Broomsticks. It does have a separate entrance, but you can get to it inside of the Three Broomsticks as well.
This is quick service, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, both of them are. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what I was making sure I was thinking of the right one.
Yeah, I don't think there's any true sit down restaurants in the parks. I think they're mostly in City Walk. There might be one, the Marvel one might be, but for them, there's not any in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Everything that's theirs is considered quick service.
So let's go over to Diagon Alley at Universal Studios. The first attraction is Escape from Gringotts. And this is like a multi-dimensional thrill ride that combines 3D technology with a roller coaster experience. So you encounter Harry, Ron, and Hermione and some other sinister characters along the way. On top of this is where you see the fire-breathing dragon. It's about every 15 minutes or so, and everybody will start circling around with all their phones trying to get a video or picture, and you will hear the dragon start to like growl before it happens.
It is sometimes a little harder though, like until you hear it for the first time. The ride, as it's zooming through the building, also makes kind of a noise. And so you have to kind of figure out if it's the ride or if it's the
rumble
dragon.
or grumble.
Yeah, but the dragon definitely has a very distinct noise that it makes before it breathes fire. And it is really neat to see it. It's really cool. As mentioned before, Hogwarts Express goes between the two areas. So it also has, you can also enter it from Diagon Alley. The neat thing about this side of it is, though, that this is where you enter it and you get to pass through the 9 3/4, platform 9 3/4. And I think, Krystle, you actually got a video of me passing through. And it's really cool because it looks like that I'm like passing through the wall, even though obviously I really didn't pass through the wall. But there's a spot where you can do that and you can film from a different angle and you can see the person going through the wall.
So maybe we should mention that this side is more like an underground train station, and the other side is more like outside of a train station where you can see like the front of the train, right?
Yes, that's true. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this is more like what you think of whenever they are going on the platform and what you see when they take the bus. Take the train to Hogwarts. I liked this side a lot better because of
it was fun. Then you have the night bus. It's currently parked outside of Diagon Alley. There's a great couple spots on there for pictures. And I also saw there's like a conductor who's the little guy, the little head, interacting with people.
The shrunken head.
Yes, he was very interactive. That when I was sitting there waiting for you, there was a line and kind of like a Crush's Turtle Talk where they talk back and forth. It was really funny.
Since we're talking about the night bus, because it's outside of Diagon Alley, it's also the same for the London Taxi Hut. It's outside of Hogwarts Station and Diagon Alley and all of that. It's close to where the night bus is. And that just has snacks, like it has loaded jacket potatoes, hot dogs, and crisp or chips. And they also have bottled beverages and beer. So I thought I would mention that since it's right there. The other thing that you will see as kind of entertainment is the Tales of Beetle the Bard or Celestina Warbeck. They have performances on the stage by Celestina Warbeck and the Banshees, or you can hear a story from The Fountain of Fair Fortune or The Tale of the Three Brothers. You just have to look at the app to kind of get a good idea of when they have show times. I did not get to see the storytelling, but I definitely think that's something that I want to do when I'm there next February. I'm excited to go back, and this is something that I want to experience because I love those. I just like those stories because that is such an important part of the Harry Potter series.
Next, you have Nocturne Alley. This is the shady spot where you can find wizards into the dark arts.
It was kind of creeped me out a little bit because it was so dark, and I think my eyes have a rough time transitioning from light to dark. Like they don't dilate very quickly, and so as soon as we entered, I like couldn't see because it goes from like you're out in the bright sun into like there's barely any light in there. So I
Well, and
could,
then there's
yeah,
that Borgin and Burke shop in there,
yeah,
right?
it
And you
is.
couldn't even the light, like if you ever use like dimmers, is like just enough for it to be on. So it was so like you still couldn't hardly see anything. It was so hard to see.
Yeah, it was very creepy. The vibe they definitely like nailed the vibe because it was very creepy in there. However, it was also probably 10 degrees cooler, much appreciated when we were sweating like crazy in the late June sun.
Since we talked about Borgin and Burke's, let's other dining and shopping. So Borgin and Burke's, there's like the dark arts, like Death Eater mask, accessories, the cursed jewelry, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
There's another Ollivanders, same as the other
Yeah.
one.
They also, which this was really fun when we saw it because we thought it was fun because they have a little shop called Globus Mundi and it's the Wizarding World travel agency.
Whoop,
So they
whoop.
have, yeah, we took a picture in front of it. It has passport holders, luggage tags, travel mugs, and it also has some hoodies and t-shirts and stuff like that in there.
Here is the Gringotts Money Exchange. You can actually exchange your Muggle money for Gringotts bank notes, and then you can use that to make purchases throughout the wizarding world of Harry Potter.
The Madame Malkin's robes for all occasions. Obviously, this is going to have robes in there. They also have ties, scarves, sweaters, jewelry, and hats, just other things that are much needed wizarding gear.
Then there is the Magical Menagerie, which has all the magical creatures you love just in plush form. There's some cute little things in here.
Yeah. I can never take my 11-year-old because she has enough stuffed animals. And yeah, I had to kind of steer her clear of it. Like, don't go in there. You don't want what's in there. That's not a good place to go. They also have an owl post in Diagon Alley. You can also get an owl of your own and you can mail postcards like you can from Hogsmeade.
There is the Quality Quidditch supplies. They also have golden snitches, bludgers, quaffles, sweaters, brooms, fan attire for the Holyhead Harpies, and Chudley cannons.
Scribulus. This is basically where you can nerd out on ink, feather, quills, parchment, and notebooks. They have all those things in there.
Then there is the Shutterbuttons Photography Studio. So if you've ever wanted to create a moving portrait of your own, this is your chance to act out 12 iconic scenes in Diagon Alley or in Hogsmeade.
Yeah, this is pretty cool because my parents took the girls a couple years ago and they did like kind of the Harry Potter package and added on this piece. And they have a DVD that has some of the things on there. So it's kind of cool. They were able to do several things and we watch it every once in a while. It's pretty cheesy, but it's funny. Wands by Gregorovich. So this is the other wand maker and it's not the same as Ollivander's, but you can find wands belonging to Victor Crumb. You can still find wands from some of the other characters that you know. And they also have interactive wands in this location.
There is Weasley's Wizard Wheezes. This colorful emporium is the novelty joke shop run by Fred and George. This shop has all manner of mischief, such as magical jokes, tricks, toys, including pygmy puffs, poop pills, skiving snack boxes, puking pastels, and more. Is this the one with the hat?
Yes, it's the one with the hat. Yeah. And it is like an exact replica of what is on the movie set. Like it's when you look at it, it's crazy. It looks exactly the same. And of course, all you Harry Potter fans will know that this is when Fred and George left Hogwarts. They left to open up the shop. Whenever Dolores Umbridge was at the school and she was just making everyone miserable, and they came through and like blew her up basically with a fake dragon. And it was really funny. The next one is Wiseacre's Wizard Equipment. This just has all types of wizarding merch, including Ministry of Magic themed merchandise.
Next is the Eternals Elixir of Refreshment. Here you can purchase a gilly water and mix with different varieties of magical elixirs. So there's the different colors. So like the draw a piece, babbling beverage, fire protection potion, and then the elixir to induce euphoria.
My daughter did this, Ella did this, and it's just flavored water, but it's cute. And the elixirs are in these cute little containers. It's just a fun experience to pour it in there, and it like changes color, and it's probably just overpriced Kool-Aid, but it's a neat little experience that you can do. Florian Fortescue's Ice Cream Parlor. They obviously have ice cream in there. One of the things that's really popular is they do have butterbeer soft serve.
Then there is the Fountain of Fair Fortune. This is the alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages, kind of like a lounge bar area.
The Hopping Pot, they have hot butterbeer is available here. They also have beef pasties, chips, and butterbeer soft serve. Krystle and I, we also got frozen butterbeer from the Hopping Pot this summer.
Oh, it was a saving grace in the 1,000,000-degree June sweaty day.
Yeah, it was pretty rough for sure. You have the Sugar Plum Sweet Shop. It has all your sweet treats, including caramel apples, cauldron cakes, and butterbeer fudge.
Next, we have the Leaky Cauldron. This is you can enjoy your traditional British fare in this iconic pub. Similar to the Three Broomsticks, you can reserve breakfast as part of your Universal vacation. And then they do have adult beverage options such as Wizard's Brew and Dragon Scale beers and Fire Whiskey liquor. And then you can also find those at Fountain of Fair Fortune and the Hopping Pot.
So we covered a lot of information, and that is the current situation. All of those things. There's lots of stuff. There's lots of shops. There's lots of fun, interactive activities that you can experience as part of the current Hogsmeade and Diagon Alley. But then we have the Ministry of Magic. That's going to be coming with Epic Universe in May of 2025. So the actual opening date we talked about last week is May 22nd of 2025. The description is from the rise of Grindelwald to the fall of Voldemort. Never before have fans been able to partake in a single journey that spans decades of wizarding world history. You'll experience Paris in 1920s before traveling to the British Ministry of Magic circa the late 1990s. So the Paris side of things is more like Fantastical Beasts. And then the British Ministry of Magic is going to be more what we experienced in the books with Harry Potter. Krystle's going to kill me because there's a bunch of
French words and I don't speak anything, let alone I can barely speak English.
So I can do this part if you want.
You just say the name and I can read the rest.
Okay. Once it's here, we'll probably have more details, but this is what they have out there for what's coming. So they're going to have Les Cercles Arcanus.
And this is where you will follow the banners to this first of its kind live show. Of course, once the premiere showcase of magical creatures from around the globe,
Les Cercles Arcanus
has fallen out of favor. Ringmaster Skinder seeks reinstitution of the glory days, having finally accomplished his quest to obtain
Magizoologist Newt Scamander. That is from Fantastical Beasts series.
Famed suitcase filled with the beings who would go on to inspire a seminal wizarding text and required for Hogwarts students in Harry's first year. Fantastical Beasts and where to find them. Guys, I don't know this stuff. Apologies.
So it's basically going to be, a show that's about the funny little creatures that were in the suitcase, the famed suitcase. And then when you walk into the theater, you instantly recognize that the show it has no metaphorical fourth wall. You are a member of the wizarding community. And yes, also the beast who will soon populate the stage. It sounds like it's going to be chaotic. Okay. The next thing is going to be dining. So this one is, and I'm probably going to mess this one up too. This one is Café L'Air de Serene. It's one of the more refined dining options. It's going to serve French-inspired cuisine for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's going to have 2 distinct outdoor seating areas. You can also get the full Parisian street cafe experience, which should be atmospheric for both dining guests and passersby. So there's going to be butterbeer in this area, but it's going to be pronounced bierber instead of butterbeer. I'm sure everybody's going to say butterbeer, but in case you see it, that's what they're going to have the French pronunciation of it as well. They're going to have basically a French version of a wand shop. It's going to be a little bit more refined. It's not going to be as kind of like with Ollivanders, there's wands everywhere, stacks all over the place. It's not going to be quite the same situation. This one is going to be called Cosme Accord Baguettes Magiques. However, it does say that for the Ollivander fans, there will be British wand imports available.
Next, you will have Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry. So this is a ride, right?
Yes, this is the one attraction that I'm aware of, other than the entertainment, which the show that we just talked about. This is an actual ride.
So they have it. They say that for the queue, when guests walk into the Ministry for the first time, that sense of scale is established, and that scale is consistently held throughout the entire experience. You'll find your way through various recognizable departments and workspaces, but more on that to come. So we still need more details. The storyline is shortly after the Battle of Hogwarts, order has been restored in the Ministry of Magic, and Lord Voldemort's followers are being held accountable for their crimes. One such accused is none other than Umbridge herself, and you've arrived on the crucial day of her trial. You board a lift to the courtroom and notice that Harry, Ron, and Hermione are in attendance alongside a new character, Hogsmeade, Umbridge's former mistreated house elf. Along the way, we witness Umbridge wiggle free a ministry control with the help of Death Eaters Yaxley, Caro, and McNair. Her stated mission, repair a broken time turner in the Department of Mysteries and restore Voldemort's reign, were recruited by Harry, Ron, Hermione, and Higley to capture her and stop her from escaping. And then we chase her through the ministry and have a whirlwind adventure.
I think this sounds so fun.
Yes.
And Umbridge is super duper hated. Ugh, can't even stand her. I can't stand her. I'm probably like, when I'm on the ride and I see her, it's not going to be good. I do not like her. She's a terrible, terrible human being and wizard. And then they have one last thing in the details. It's called Tour and Flu. And this is going to be basic. It looks like this is going to be a shop. It's going to have merchandise that you can get wands, stationery, sundries, and stylish new Auror clothing line, which that's kind of fun. Aurors are the good guys. They're the opposite of Death Eaters.
So it just kind of sounds more kind of like a classy era than from what I'm gathering.
Definitely the Paris side of things. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be, they're looking for more of that kind of French atmosphere or Paris atmosphere, the Fantastical Beasts era type of thing. So it'll be neat. I definitely am looking forward to it. I'm not looking forward to the crowds when it opens. So definitely for me, I would want to wait until it dies down a little bit before I visit. I'll be okay with the other 2 areas for a while, but I'm definitely looking forward to going though in general.
I would say though, if you are a Potterhead, I would at least dedicate almost like a full day to each area if you really want to like dig deep into the details and explore it. We could have spent so much time going through it, and I don't even understand half of it. And I was like, wait, like we didn't get enough time there. So if you are going for Harry Potter, I would dedicate at least a day and a half to just the two areas in.
I would agree for sure. We have our Fantastical Vacations agency meet at the end of February, beginning of March next year. And it's going to be at Universal. And I'm really looking forward to going to these areas again because I would like to spend more time in those areas specifically. You know, we've talked about Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure and with my family going over the summer and then Krystle and I visiting in June. I just definitely did not have enough time. I don't feel like in either instance to look into the details of this area. It was also hotter than the surface of the sun when we were there. I'm looking forward to going when it's not so hot. And I feel like I can truly enjoy slowly walking through and looking at the details, especially since that I'm going to be there, by myself. I mean, I'm be there with, other agents, but I feel like I'll have more time to look at some of those details. And even if, nobody else wants to go and do that with me, that's fine. I can go by myself, I will not, however, be writing the Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey.
No way.
Ever again.
Ugh.
But the neat thing is, if I have a day, and I have to figure out what the schedule is going to look like. But because we'll be staying at a Universal resort, we'll have the early entry, and I might be able to get in and do Hagrid's first thing, which would be cool, and not have to wait. Which we didn't really wait that long anyway. I didn't think we did.
Still an hour. So they were supposed to have a single rider, but it wasn't open yet.
Right,
so
that's true.
That might be an option if you have older kids. But this is also one that we had to, after we got there, we had to go switch out, and I had to make sure I fit. So be aware of that. Ride the bike if you have any questions about fitting.
Yeah. Well, and they do have, and I think we did talk about this, they do have most of the rides, don't you think, that they have like a spot where, if just to make sure that you feel comfortable, they have spots where you can sit down and
tester
for sure front. Yeah, that you're going to feel comfortable on the ride. They have that on several of the rides for sure. And they definitely don't have that at Disney.
No, just like on Tron.
Oh, do they have it on Tron? Okay.
They have one out front. But just as a reminder, most rides here, you do have to put your bags in a locker. So don't be trying to pack heavy, like a belt bag, if that. Even then, there are a lot there, like you have to go through a metal detector. You can't even take your phone on. So just keep that in mind.
That's true. I'm trying to think. There are lockers for sure for Hagrid's, and also Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. I don't know if there's one for Flight of the Hippogriff. I don't remember doing one for that one, but it might have just been because I just didn't have a lot with me, potentially.
I do know that we didn't have to, we did have our phones on both of those because they were not metal detectors like the other ones in the park. So we did have our phones because we had pockets in our leggings, but don't plan on trying to hold your phone because you are whipped everywhere.
Oh yeah, on the one. I was able to hold my phone on Hagrid's, but I was in the chair, or I was in the sidecar. So I was able to do it and I was fine. But
and you
I
weren't
don't
supposed
see how
to.
you could possibly do that on the bike.
No, and they were telling people, put your phone away. Julie was breaking the rules.
I was like, ha ha, I did it anyway. And I also did in the summer when I rode it with Lena, I filmed on Flight of the Hippogriff as well, because that's what I do. I can't help myself. It's funny. It's fun. I love to, some of it obviously is for content, but some of it is also because I love to look back at them and watch the girls or myself, or listen to us screaming and laughing, or the faces. So I got lots of video. I got lots of video from our trip to Disney in the last couple of weeks with the girls, and there were a couple of times when they were like, "Mom, stop taking video. You're gonna drop your phone." And I was like, "No, I'm not." And I'm so glad that I have them because I love to go back and watch them. It's funny.
Well, if you would like to go to Universal and experience Harry Potter, let us know. We'd love to help you.
Absolutely. And don't forget the promotion that we talked about. There's always promotions as well with Universal. And just like with Disney, if there's a new promotion that pops up, even after you've already booked, we can go back and apply that to your vacation and get you a better deal if there's something that's a better deal for that particular time frame.
Next week, I think we're going to do a cruising episode. If you have any sort of question about cruising, we want to answer like your guys's questions. Like,
Yeah,
since
what do you want to know?
what do you want to know? So our email is wanderlustandwishespodcast@gmail.com. It's also in the show notes, or send us a DM on Instagram if you have any questions, because we're going to do a whole episode dedicated to your questions. So let us know.
We will talk to you all next week. Thank you for listening. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Wanderlust and Wishes.
If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform.
And remember, the world is full of wonders waiting to be explored. Until next time, happy travels.
Bye for now.